Good morning, I'm 90 and you're watching ZXC. I'm already in the semi-truck now, but the intro I did on a different camera, I don't know if it's any good or not, so I'm going to do this one just in case. This is a Ford 9000 restoration video. In the video, we get to do all the airlines in the back of the truck, like all the brake lines and stuff like that. I'm redoing those. And then I hint at doing the crossover line. I didn't get that much film, but I'll show you a bit of it at the end of the video. The crossover line for the fuel tanks. So the only thing left on the fuel tanks I need to do is just install the fuel level valve, which I need to repair before sticking in. And the fuel can go into the tanks. And it should be good. Next weekend, I had a comment of asking for the width, so what I'll do for you guys is I'll get the width of the truck with the mirrors, I'll get the actual height, and then I'll do the length as a comment. My airbags, I replaced the back airbags. I haven't done the front yet, but they're just a cabin airbag. And what I did is I took this piece off, I welded a stud so the airbag screws in, and then I had the other side have the airline go through the top. For a normal airbag, the airline usually goes to the bottom, but the cab over is flipped. I wanted to switch it, but then the airline would rub against all this garbage right here, so I don't know yet. I'm just going to run with it for now. The reason why you'd want the airbag the opposite way is because debris can get in between the airbag while it's going up and down. But for now, it's just a Firestone cabin airbag. These guys are still good, but I will have to do a replacement on them too sometime because they've seen better days. Welcome to another episode of I Don't Like to Think About Things. So we're gonna cut some new guys here, but first we need to get the size of these guys. I only have one left, so we have to get this right on both of them. Anyways, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take off these ends with some magical ability. So for the face, that is exactly 2 inches. We'll get our 2-inch mark. Right there. So, firstly, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the slack adjuster back on. And the slack adjusters are super gross. Probably don't need a bunch of stuff in there. Let me clean that out. Let's put this back. I'm going to actually put this on first, it looks like. Whoa. Okay, Holmes. A few days ago, I got these back in, and I put new hose on everything back here. It looks cool and all, but I was thinking for more functionality and safer, I'm gonna put 90s on these so they point up on all 4 of them, even the ones in front. So the hoses will just go straight down and into them. It'll clean it up a lot. So we'll do that right now. Okay, I'm back. The local store didn't have any little extenders, so I got 45s instead. Right there. We're just going to put 45s at the bottom and 90s at the top. A little inconvenient, but hey, we're dedicated now. So in an episode that I didn't release yet, this dude here, I asked about what it was because it's a park brake, but the frickin' service line goes into it. And after some searching, I can't find much information, but it's called a spring brake relay. And usually they have a sensing line to tell if the air pressure has died in one of the tanks. So it uses your spring brake. It's mostly used on buses. That's probably why I didn't know about it. But this dude here is like a more basic one. I guess it uses spring brake. If this overpowers this side, then it will release the spring brake, I'm guessing. That's my theory behind it. But yeah, I might do some testing with this once I have it all together to see how it actually works. But that's my theory right now for it. I'm going to replace this because I do not like it rubbing right there. So that's my next move, is changing this to a T. There we go. Doesn't that look better? So we have a line going front, a line going to the back. Doesn't hit the, or can't hit the drive shaft, but it's loose enough for the suspension. And then it's not rubbing against the frame. All good. Here's the front axle. So I was able to do 90s on both sides. Makes it a lot cleaner. And then I have the separators that separate the hose. So they should never hit the axle. This one doesn't hit. So that should be good. If you're curious, I didn't know at first. I thought these were both the same. But this is the Bendix brand. It's a different brand. And it's more straight on. That's why I can't use two 90s in the same spot. Because they hit the bands for the bottom one. And they're just too close together. When we go to the front one, they're actually separated more, and I'm able to get both of them at a 90-degree angle. So I would like them all 90s, but the back one, it's not going to hit any like drive shafts or anything, so I think we'll do fine with that. Things I didn't film but a few days back too, I have changed and replaced all the fuel line for the in and out of the engine. What I had in here before is just a flexible fuel line, and it was smaller. I changed it to a bigger fuel line, which is proper. The old one went to the front of the engine too, which factory didn't happen like that. So I just closed that off, put the big fuel line, and then bend some pipe and ran it all the way back like that. I also got a new return line here, and then also this line here is new, so it has a new out and in. So my new fuel crossover valve, I didn't have the original valve for it, so we have this guy in and it crosses over. I did get a little bit of extra line because they measured the line and didn't adjust for the valves, but I will fasten that to the air tank that goes under there after, to just make sure it doesn't grab any debris while going down the road. But that's all in. It's in a rail in there and fastened down. I usually get my fuel in Sylvan Lake, but Sylvan Lake has really let me down. It's $1.27 in Sylvan, and Red Deer at the moment, it's $1.15 I found. It's pretty sweet.